All right, I think we're good.
We're live.
Yeah, this is Ty from the Gaming Helm, and right here, special guest appearance by my best friend, Nixta with the Mixta.
Pleasure to meet y'all.
And what we're going to do today is take a look at the evolution of a classic horror game that was long considered to be a rival of the Resident Evil series.
Silent Hill!
Very exciting stuff.
Who doesn't love being freaked out?
I love it. Do you?
Of course, man. The chills up and down my spine.
Awesome, then let's get right into it. Now, what we start out with here is the classic that started on the PlayStation 1 over a decade ago. It was pretty interesting how it all came to be. You assume the role of a guy named Harry who's looking for his missing adopted daughter, Cheryl. Now, today these graphics look pretty corny, and needless to say, they're pretty out of date.
I know, let's face it. That ash, it looks like snow. You're like, is this a Christmas game?
I thought that was snow.
No, it's ash. Remember the town was like all burning in the background.
That is true. But as this game was a very big success is because, unlike Resident Evil, where a virus created a zombie plague, this has got to deal with the paranormal, ghosts, spooky stuff. And basically anything that you can think of with your wild imagination and nightmare, this is basically what the game was all about. It was basically haunted ghost town. And yeah, another thing that
tried
was...
to make you piss your pants.
They really did a good job.
Succeeded quite well for the time.
Not to mention, this game employed no longer any fixed camera angles like Resident Evil did for the longest time.
Oh, I know. That made such a travesty of shooting sometimes.
And you know what? It was pretty cool because this game also employed the use of Hollywood-style cinematography. The camera would follow the character, as you can see for yourself, but it would also pull away, do wide-angle shots, over-the-head views. Pretty cool stuff. And unlike the Resident Evil...
Exciting.
Yeah. Plus, your character's not like a special forces officer or anything like that. He's just a regular guy. We don't even know what he does for a living. He's just a...
Schlub.
Yeah. And look at that. He finds that his daughter's missing. He sees a pile of blood. What's he going to do?
Pile of blood. Jeez, it looks like a pig exploded or something.
Maybe. And here's what I was talking about. The overhead views. Look at that camera pullback. This is the first time this has ever been done in a survival horror game. And, of course... As the game progresses, you will see very quickly that it gets pretty dark. You don't see very much in front of yourself.
Yeah, so the overhead camera angles really made it a lot easier to take those tight corners.
Yeah. And as you can see, it gets pretty dark. What do you have? Your faithful lighter. Oh, geez, that actually makes it look sort of darker because you can only see in the illumination of the Zippo.
Yeah. I can't remember. Did they actually have the lighter run out of fluid in the
No,
game?
it was infinite fuel, people. You don't have to worry about that. But eventually you get a flashlight, also infinite batteries. The one thing you have to watch out for is when you pick up your portable radio, which you conveniently get in every single game, was every time a monster would get close...
That scratchy voice off the radio, man.
And static noise. It would basically give away to you, like a form of radar, that a bad guy's close.
What's going on here?
And as you can see, Harry, he's finding his very first ugly corpse, and look at that. Ambush! What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Nothing. You're done. Of course, your character does go down here. He's not supposed to get away. Somehow I got lucky here. But don't worry, there's more. He'll get me too. Boom. Dead.
You can't get away from it, man.
No, you're supposed to fall unconscious. You wake up in a diner, and then the story really goes out of control from here. Moving along. What we have here would be the very first Silent Hill on this PlayStation 2. The improved graphics, better voice acting, new cast, new characters.
Better voice acting.
Yep, not to mention new story. This game really has zero impact on the original. It wants it to be fresh. You still return to Silent Hill, and this guy basically, he gets a letter from his dead wife. So that's what encourages him to go to Silent Hill.
Well, I think that's why people keep liking all the Silent Hill games, is you have the same basic background, but they bring a new story to it every time.
But unlike that, in Silent Hill 3, it's also the true sequel to the original because it takes place after the first one ended, 17 years after it ends. You assume the role of a young teenager named Heather who awakes from a mysterious dream in a shopping mall wondering, what the hell happened? It felt so real. Now, of course, when the game really kicks off, when she awakes from her dream, she's approached by a mysterious old geezer who claims to be a private detective. And he says, I have truth about your past.
Those?
Oh, yeah. He former police officer turned PI. I mean, how cliche is that?
I thought those things only went after, like, cheating housewives and stuff.
Well, in this case, he was hired by at the time, unknown organization to find the truth. Yeah, and
I couldn't help it.
The game quickly escalates out of control. In the shopping mall, everyone, including the staff, disappear, and it's filled with monsters who are not trying to kill her, but abduct her. Why? Because they want to take her to Silent Hill. And that's another good thing I liked about this game. It doesn't start in Silent Hill. For the first half of the game, Heather's just trying to go back home to tell her old man what the hell's going on, what happened. And interestingly enough, the first character from the original game, the protagonist, Harry, he makes a cameo in this game. I'm not going to spoil as to what happens to him, but you know what? It's a pretty memorable cameo, and it's like a big plot twist that'll make you go, oh, no way! The last game after Silent Hill 3 would be Silent Hill 4, The Room, which would be the final Silent Hill game on the PlayStation 2.
That one was real freaky, man.
I know, it
Some of
really...
those scenes, whew.
And
Fucked up if you saw them late at night.
And unfortunately, it would be the final game produced by the original Japanese creators. They would hand off the series, the franchise itself, to a North American-based... They did, but they were really good, and they were authentic. I know a lot of people didn't like video game movies, but for me and Nick personally, we enjoyed them because they were just true to the original source material.
And it's harkening back to our childhood. It freaked us the hell out, like it's supposed to. And it was, I mean, you know, the acting was a little so-so, but the story was good.
It really was.
The story was very good. They got it very close to the originals. And the special effects were great.
They really were.
You actually thought you were fucking seeing this shit happen. You didn't know it was CGI. It wasn't blocky or wooden. It was good.
Yep. And what we have here is the first Silent Hill introduced onto the current generation consoles, Silent Hill Homecoming. It was both on Xbox 360 and PS3. It was really good. You're just a war veteran coming home, not to Silent Hill, believe it or not, a little town that's run by a mysterious cult that may or may not have ties to Silent Hill. And as you can see,
Triangle.
he's basically tied to looks like what is that, like a gurney, a operating chair or something like that, table?
Yeah, surgical table,
yeah,
something
like stretcher,
like that. Yeah.
They're wheeling him into like a mysteriously dark hospital for whatever reason. It looks like he's in an episode of the X-Files. You can see just as much as you could in that show. But you know what? This game, for the first time produced by North America creators, it was actually pretty well done. Better graphics, as would be expected from the next generation console.
True. Personally, I think it was a little lacking in those truly suspenseful, terrifying scenes where all of a sudden just shit happened and you were freaked out. But it came across very well.
Plus, the combat system was really well redone, you know?
Yeah, the combat system was very well redone because that's more what North Americans are used to. But again, like the terrifying sequences, the Japanese are masters of that type of suspense.
They really
do.
And
unfortunately, North Americans, we just can't quite reach that pinnacle yet.
Not quite yet, but we're getting there. This was the first attempt, and the game itself, and there had some moments that really made me go, oh my god, I can't believe that happened. Because, there's tie-ins to why this guy's family, it doesn't like him, why his brother mysteriously disappeared, which is basically, piggybacking on the original story from the first game. He's looking for a lost family member. So yeah, it's a similar territory.
Go through for family,
Exactly. That's what really gets you invested into the character, and this right here, it happens to be an aberration of his younger brother that mysteriously disappeared. The first
some kind of freaky rabbit picture.
I know. What's with the rabbits in Silent Hill?
I don't get it, honestly.
Is that the mascot? Did someone tell me there was a mascot and didn't bother to say nothing?
Maybe.
Unreal. Well, the first part of the game, you're just trying to break out of the hospital. And after this game, there would be one more Silent Hill for the current generation consoles. That would be, in my opinion, one of the stronger Silent Hills. That would be Downpour. Silent Hill Downpour. Interestingly enough about this version of Silent Hill, you assume the role of a convict who's on his way from being transferred from his current prison to a new one. But on transit, his bus careens off a cliff with a bunch of inmates and prison guards. Three guesses where they land.
Silent Hill?
Yeah.
Silent Hill and Silent Hill?
I think you'd be right there. And this guy, he is not really the warmest dude. You can choose how he acts when he runs across the odd survivor here or there, or just random townfolk that seems to be living in Silent Hill and not bothered at all by the monsters that live around there. You get a couple of new mechanics. For example, you get a UV light that can see ghosts or the silhouettes of a ghost. The sound effects, the soundtracks, the action, it's actually a little bit more current, brought up to date, but not at the same time sacrificing the original source material. It stays true to the original games. Not to mention, spooky atmospheres, like ghosts that you think you just saw, and all of a sudden they disappear out into the shadow. I like that.
Well, it's the whole rain backdrop with the distant flashes of lightning that just kind of play tricks with your eyes. Even not even as like a character, but just you trying to watch the stuff on the screen with the flickering from that.
And all of a sudden you turn a corner and boom, ghost, grudge monster ripoff comes at you.
Just like,
Hey, look at that! You're coming up from behind with the monster you thought you saw in the woods, but guess what? Oh, look at that! She's got her friend.
sneak attack.
And the only way you can kill the monsters from this game is that when they're down, you slam whatever you happen to have on them a couple of times. You kick them when they're down, and when they disappear, they're dead.
Honestly, I think that's a pretty good metaphor for life. Kick them while they're down.
Well, this is survival of the fittest, more or less. You know, you have to do it to survive.
I'm sorry, do you not remember elementary school?
I try not to.
Yeah. Gee, I wonder why.
This game picks up in a variety of locations. You go all over the town. It's a really open world sandbox. All the games are, but this one really piggybacks on the concept of an RPG element because you get to do what we like to call side missions. You can get, it doesn't really, there's no upgrading your character. There's no real improvement to the character's skill set. You just get to do little quests to find little extra timbits, nuggets that will add on to the spice and character of the game as a whole.
Although, to be honest, it does make it a little more interesting than most of the other Silent Hill games, in my opinion, because of that.
Yeah, make a move, kill it! Kill it!
Just for the fact that you didn't have to go hunting for a specific item before you could go looking for something else. You could find things out of order, get things that would help you a little bit more, that you didn't necessarily need, but just made it a little easier. So I thought that was a good thing.
It really was. Yep. Good visuals. Nice and stunning. Well, that about wraps up this segment of the Gaming Helm. Hope you enjoyed it as usual. Thanks a lot for being on, Nick.
Hey, it's my pleasure, man. I watch the videos, and it's always cool to come by and actually see how it's done and give a hand for it.
Hey, appreciate the support. And you know what? What would be your personal opinion of Silent Hill, the franchise as a whole?
As a whole, wildly successful. All the money it's made, all the games it's created, and all the people it's just scared the shit out of over the years. How could you not love that?
They must have been doing something right because Silent Hill 4 coming out on next-gen consoles. Norman Reedus. They got his likeness and his voice. Mr. Walking Dead's going to be in the next Silent Hill game. I'm going to probably get a PS4 just for the sake of the game.
Don't lie. You know you're going to get the PS4 for other things as well, but that'll be the first game you'll buy for it.
Yes. So I'd probably rate...
At least be honest.
That's
all I ask.
Okay. I would rate the franchise as a whole very happy 8.5 out of 10. All right? How about you?
Yeah, I give it 8.4, 8.5 out of 10. It's very solid overall.
That's good to hear. Well, you know what? Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you next time.